everybody, Lord Tremendous here. Got another battle report here for you. 2,500 point battle, Lord Tremendous of the Undead Legion versus Token Gal of the Lizardmen. That's right, we're all starting to go to more GTs per year now, and so we're all trying to get a bunch of practice in. I get a bunch of practice and never helps, but that doesn't mean it won't work for my friends. So hey, why not? I'll be their punching bag. So this is actually a pretty good battle. It's against the Lizardmen, which I don't get to fight all that often, and you get to see how I get beat up by a girl. So awesome, awesome. Get ready to watch this one.
Assemble the army!
Here's my list, and it's the same as last battle report because I played all these games on the same day, and you know I don't change up the list in between games because that's kind of crappy, you know. But anyway, I have my Tomb King, Lord Tremendous. He's got a shield, Sword of Anti-Heroes, Armor of Destiny, Dragonbane Gem, and the other Trickster Shard. I also have a Lich High Priest, Queen Elizabeth, who's a level 4 wizard with the Staff of Sorcery and the lore Nehekara. My hero choices are my Vampire, Lady Coco, who's a level 2 wizard with a BSB, Great Weapon, Armor, Silvered Steel, Luckstone, Forbidden Lore, and she uses the Lore of Metal. Then I have a Necromancer, Dark Vincent, who's a level 2 wizard with a Dispel Scroll and the Lore of Undeath. And then, of course, my Necrotech, Sinister Jeffrey, with his Dragon Helm. My core choices are 5 Skeleton Horse Archers with a banner, 57 Skeleton Warriors, the Fateless, with full command, light armor, and shields, 12 Skeleton Archers, the Queen's Guard, with full command, and 3 Chariots, Rollin' Bones, with Musician Banner and the Banner of Eternal Flame. My special choices are 3 Medusa Stalkers, those that gaze, 3 Vargeists, a Chimerian War Sphinx, that's right, the man, the myth, the legend, with Fiery Roar. And my rare choices are my Hyro Titan, Add to Protector, and my Casket of Souls. My opponent's list is as follows. She has a Slan Mage Priest with a level 4 Wizard, Channeling Staff, Iron Curse Icon, Harmonic Convergence, Reservoir of Eldritch Energy, Soul of Stone, and the Lore of Shadow. She took that Soul of Stone because she got tired of sucking herself into the warp. Her hero choices are a Scar Veteran, BSB on a Cold One with a Great Weapon and the Armor of Destiny, and another Scar Veteran on a Cold One with a Great Weapon, Sacred Steganon Helm of Itza, and a Luckstone, and a Skink Priest, who is a level 1 wizard with the Cube of Darkness and the Lore of Beast, and another Skink Priest, who is a level 2 wizard with the Dispel Scroll and the Lore of Beasts. Her core choices were 36 Saurus Warriors with Banner, Musicians, Spears, and Shields, 10 Skink Skirmishers with Javelins and Shields. She had 3 units of those. Her special choices were 8 Cold One Riders with full command, 21 Temple Guard with Banner, Musician, Halberd Shields, and the Razor Standard, 3 Pterodon Riders with Fire Leech Bolas, and a Bastiladon with the Solar Engine. Here are my spells, which are pretty much what you're looking at. And here's deployment. I castled up slightly on this one. I did set out my, my Vargeists way over on the right flank, just so that she would drop something over on the right flank. I figure even if it was just a unit of skinks or something like that, or anything, that'd be great. And then I deployed everything else over on the left. She got a little pissed at me for doing that, but, you know, it was cool. It was a learning experience, and not really mad. Just, oh, you jerk. Really though, the plan was put everything over on the left side and use the force to my advantage. Her Saurus Cav, which is the real big threat, especially with all the characters. If they go through a forest, they're not going to be steadfast, which, you know, with Cold-Blooded isn't going to be a huge big deal. But at the same time, they go through the forest, they got to take dangerous terrain, and that's really important. Everything else, though, it's kind of like a little bit of a bottleneck there in between the house and the forest and the rough terrain in the top left there. So the hope was create a little bit of a traffic jam. She won't be able to bring everything that she has to bear all at once, which really works to my strengths. And then I can charge in and out-endurance anything that she throws at me. And, of course, you know, I've got a kitty, so what am I worried about? Here's her right flank, which consists of her Pterodons, her Saurus Cav behind her with her BSB and Scarvet installed. Right next to them is a unit of Skinks with one of the Skink Priests installed, I believe. And here's her center. From left to right, there's her Bastiladon, her Temple Guard with Slan, another unit of Skinks with Skink Priest installed. I think that's the level 1. And Saurus Warriors right next to them. And here's the left flank with the out of position skink screen skirmisher guys. Here's my right flank, which consists of my scouts and my Vargeists. And here's my center, which consists of my chariots, my kitty, my warriors with vampire BSB, necrotech, and tomb king installed. Behind them are my archers with my necromancer and high lich priest. And right next to them is, well, not a little in front of them, I guess, is my titan. And my left flank consists of my casket. Here's top of one after movement, and I got to go first. I know, I was really surprised. I won't lie to you. The Vargeists come up and just kind of face around a little bit in the center there, daring the skinks or the Stars Warriors to come close enough for me to attack. My scouts, they just moved up slightly to get within shooting range of the skink skirmishers because I need 5s to hit them. My chariots kind of reposition slightly to cover the little bottleneck there. My kitty does the same. My warriors just kind of shifted over to the left a little bit into the forest. The archers just kind of angled themselves slightly so that they could shoot at the pterodons, and the titan moved in front of the casket so that the pterodons couldn't charge it. I'd figured charging my titan was a better choice than getting my casket charged by them. During the magic phase, I'm able to get +1 attack and multiple shots off on the archers, and that was solely so that I had more shots at the pterodons. Unfortunately, it was irresistible force. I threw 3 dice at it, and I rolled 2 6s and a 1. So it's like, oh, awesome. First spell of the game, and I've got to open the door to hell. Outstanding.
No! You must not read from the book!
Luckily, though, it was just a miscast 7, so, of course, 3 of my archers get obliterated into fine white powder, and I pretty much end the rest of my magic phase because I suck away like 5 or 6 dice, which is just awesome. But I got the spell off at least, and yay. Then we go into shooting, and it was worth it. The remaining archers are able to obliterate all but one of the pterodons. She makes her panic check with insane courage, no problem. These things are made of just raw steel. But there's only 1 left instead of 3, so that's actually really important. And then we go over here to bottom of 1 after movement. And now that there's only 1 pterodon, it goes shooting past my Titan and gets right next to the casket and the Titan and all that stuff. Even, I think, throws a fireball at him and it doesn't hurt him or whatever it is where they drop rock. Maybe she didn't drop rocks. I don't know. She does something to him later. But it doesn't hurt him because he's tough to 6. But she's able to fit him in there now, which kind of sucks. The rest of her army comes shooting into that bottleneck, which I'm really happy about. The skinks, of course, just screening to throw off the charges and stuff like that, which I expected, but that's fine. Skinks flee, and that's good with me. Other than that, though, like I said, everything in the left flank there starts funneling forward. The skink skirmisher guys, they run forward to shoot at my Vargeists, and that's fine. The Vargeists are going into those things. I don't even care. And that's pretty much it. During her shooting phase, because nothing happens in Magic at all, I'm able to shoot it down, which I'm very proud of. Staff of Sorcery on a level 4, it's very effective, especially against a Slan. But yeah, the 2 skink screens just empty their little, they have javelins, so they throw them all at the kitty, and 1 actually lands a wound on him, and I'm not pleased about that at all, to be perfectly honest. She actually rolled pretty well, but I made a lot of armor saves and a lot of regens. I was actually very proud of my dice. But 1 did slip through, and the kitty is now cracking a little bit, and that's never good. You don't want to piss off the kitty. Then over here, the other unit of skink skirmishers fire at the Vargeist and put 2 wounds on them, which is fine. They're still alive, and now they have a reason to kill these things. So, without further ado, we go over here to top of 2, and we charge. The Vargeist go after the skinks, and the funny part is, the skinks stand and shoot and fail to do any wounds. They don't do any poison. They're not able to wound with the hits, and that's hilarious. What's not hilarious is the one Vargeist with 2 wounds on him slams his stupid head into a tree during the charge and dies because that's how I roll, baby. My chariots and my kitty charge 2 different units of skink skirmishers, which of course both flee, which is fine. I try to redirect into the Bastillodon, and neither of them make it. I needed like an 11 or 12, so it's not a shock. But actually, the kitty I think tries to go after something, or doesn't try to redirect. He fails his redirect, but the Chariots did try to redirect into the Bastildon and failed, which is totally fine. The Skeleton Warriors turned to face the, what's it called? Saurus Cav, because I know they're coming, and the Titan backs up a little bit and faces the Pterodon so he can Spirit Leech and Shem's Burning Gaze this thing, hopefully to death. Meanwhile, my Stalkers come up in the back, and their job is going to be to try to finish off every model in the Saurus Cav before they can charge with Care Bear Stare, because I believe they're initiative 1 or 2. There's a better picture of my Vargai slamming his head into a tree and dying, which, you know what, I love this unit. I really do. I enjoy playing with the Vargais. My wife did a wonderful job painting them, and I think this is just cool. So the fact that one died on the way in, well, it does suck, but it is kind of funny at the same time. And there's a better picture of my failed charges from the Kitty and the Chariots. Oh, and I did forget, my scouts did move 8 inches out of the forest and failed a dangerous terrain and died. One died anyway, and you know what? Hey, trees, they come out of nowhere, I tell you. During the magic phase, I'm able to soak up enough of her Dispel Dice that I get Spirit Leech off on the Pterodon, and the Pterodon rolls a 1, and I think my Titan rolled like an 8 or something like that. Well, he rolled like a 5 or a 6, plus his 8, and the little skink guy's only like leadership 5 or 6, so he exploded, and the Titan just looked cooler for it. And then over here in the shooting phase, I do lose a, what's it called? A Stalker for my trouble, and I put a wound on on another one. I do like 2 miscasts and a 10 or something like that, but it works out. I end up killing 4 Saurus Cav, and I lose a Stalker for my trouble, which not ideal, but for 2 miscasts and a 8 or a 10, it's not the worst thing in the world, so I'll take it, I guess. Just a little frustrating. And then over here in combat, these crazy ass skinks. Wow. Not only do they drop a Vargeist all by themselves, but they don't get obliterated either. I roll very, very below average, and she rolls very, very above average. So the 2 rolls actually kind of average themselves out. So I guess all is right with the universe. But yeah, she, I think I win this combat, but she makes her break check no problem, and that was unexpected. Skinks made of iron. Wow. Very wow. So with my jaw on the floor, we go over here to bottom of 2 after movement, and she makes some charges and fails. Her Temple Guard tried to charge my Chariots and fail. The Bastildon tried to charge my Chariots and fail. Her Cav tried to charge my Skeleton Warriors and fail. And then her Skinks rally. The ones up top there turn to face the, what's it called? The Stalkers. Not that they can shoot or anything like that, but they are going to try to use their Laura Beast spells. She has Amber Spear. And of course, the Slan has some magic missiles, I think, that she can shoot through the skink or whatever. So that's something else. Both units of skinks rally and turn to face, their respective angles, and that's pretty much it. There's a better picture of the Cav failing the charge, as well as the Bastildon and the Temple Guard. Oh, well, I'm sorry, and there's the Bastildon and Temple Guard failing the charge as well. To be honest with you, I think the Bastildon tried to charge the Kitty. Not 100% on that, but I think that's where she tried to go. During the magic phase, she enfeebles my Terrorgeist, making him strength 2, I think, which I still need 4s to hit, but now they have a 5-up, 6-up, so, I was having trouble at strength 5 wounding these things, so now that I'm strength 2, I'm sure things will go much better. And then during the magic phase, she is able to get Amber Spear off on the Stalkers. To be perfectly honest with you, I didn't try to dispel it because I just figured, oh well. But she only did 1 wound, which didn't kill it, which means it stopped because it fires like a bolt thrower, so that was kind of nice. The resulting miscast was a 10, which is always nice, and, I was wrong. I didn't just let it go, but it was Irresistible Force. She did get it off, and she miscast 10, which actually kind of works out nice. Because she ends up losing 3 wizard levels for her trouble, which means now he's a level 0. He doesn't cast anymore. He's still a conduit for the Slan. He can still use his little arcane items and stuff like that, but he doesn't... I don't know if he channels. I think we played that they still channel. No, I honestly don't know. I don't care. He doesn't have his spells anymore, and that's what's important. Then over here, I drop one more skink, I think with my stomp, to be perfectly honest with you, because I wasn't able to parry it. She armor saves and parries any other attack. She's not able to do any wounds back. I do a wound to her nothing. I win by 1, and they make their break check no problem because cold-blooded. So we go over here to top of 3 after movement, and I've had enough. The War Kitty tries to charge a Temple Guard and fails. The Chariots charge a Bastiladon and succeed. Skeleton Warriors and the Titan prepare for the onslaught of the Saurus Cav. The surviving Stalkers move up to try their luck again against the Saurus Cav. And my Scouts move up to try to bail my Vargeist out of this combat that he's getting the crap beat out of him in. Other than that, everything that I have is deader in combat. There's a better picture of the Kitty failing and the Chariot succeeding. During the magic phase, I'm able to get Incantation of Desiccation off on the Bastiladon, lowering its strength and toughness by 1, which I think will be, very important during this fight. Over here in the shooting phase, I only get 6 shots total. I roll a 4 and a 2, which isn't great, but I'll take it. And I'm able to drop 2 more Saurus Cav, which is excellent, because now that unit is very manageable. It's still a threat with 2 Scar Veterans, and all that, but at the same time, there's a lot fewer attacks, and now my Stalkers can die. They've done enough. That unit is I can deal with them now, and so now any magic or shooting that he throws at the Stalkers, I'm perfectly fine with. Then over here, we go into combat, and I flub, and she flubs. So we stand there and scream at each other. She doesn't have any command or anything like that. I certainly don't have a musician with this Vargeist. He never learned how to play the piccolo or anything. So we literally draw combat. A Vargeist. A friggin' Vargeist versus some skinks for like 3-4 rounds of combat now, and there's still 3 skinks left. I don't even know what to say. These skinks are amazing. Oh, I'm sorry. I know why they're making their break check. They're in the forest. They're stubborn. So yeah, skink skirmishers in a forest, or skirmishers in a forest anyway. They're stubborn. That's why she keeps making her break checks. But either way, they're not going anywhere. I can't kill them. I figured I would blow through this unit and be done with it, but no. No, these guys came for a fight, and they were proud that they found one. Over here, however, the Bastiladon does not prove nearly as tough, and my Chariots kill it. They run into it. They don't take any damage back. They're able to break him from combat. They catch him, and then they slam into the Temple Guard, which is good. I don't expect the Chariots to survive that fight. I expect their impact hits to do some serious damage to the Temple Guard, and then hopefully the Chariots are blown out of the way so that the Kitty can get in there and finish them off, because the Kitty is very good against infantry. So we go up here to bottom of 3 after movement, and I got to be honest with you, Token Gal kind of throws me for a loop here. Her Saurus Cav, instead of charging my Skeleton Warriors, actually charged the flank of the Chariot. She had the arc. I didn't think she did. We put the little arc viewfinder up there, and sure enough, not only did she have it, she had it by a lot. So she charged into the Chariots and made it, and I gotta be honest, I was surprised. I didn't see that coming. The other unit of Saurus Warriors, they just wait for the Skinks to get out of the way so they can finish off the Vargeist. The Skink screen gets in the way of my Stalkers so they can just pepper this thing to death. And, you know what, that's fine. Like I said, the Stalkers are going to die. Stalkers are going to die. Other than that, though, everything else she has is deader in combat. There's a better picture of her Saurus Cav slamming into my Chariots, and that was a great move by her, in my opinion. During the magic phase, I don't recall exactly what spell she gets off, but she does get a spell off, and takes out one, she does like 1 wound and takes off one of my Stalkers, because I was already carrying 2 wounds on him, I believe. Either way, a Stalker dies. I don't remember how many wounds she does, and I have 1 left, so that's something. Then during the combat phase, or during the magic phase, she's able to get Enfeeble Foe off on my Skeleton Warriors, lowering their strength of the whole unit by 3, which is really bad, especially considering I was going to charge something next turn with them. Now I'm like, I don't And then during shooting, both units of skinks throw their javelins into the stalker, and by the time the dust settles, he is literally been melted by the poison that's on these things, and that's the end of him. But that's okay. They really did a good job against the stalkers or against the SARS Cav, and had I not rolled 2 misfires, that whole unit might have been obliterated. I really don't know, but I don't feel bad about how it went, and it's a fitting end. That's what they get for rolling 2 misfires. You know, they're better than that. They're better than that. Over here in combat, it goes slightly better. I'm able to actually kill 2 of the damn skinks, but unfortunately, they're still stubborn, and they make it. Of course, it can't do anything back to me, and that sucks. But it is what it is. And yeah, still in combat. Varguys versus skinks, and the damn skink won't go away. Most debasing skinks ever. I mean, honestly. Over here, impact hits are brutal, to say the least. I'm able to kill... Ooh, gosh, I think I killed the 2 back ranks of the Temple Guard or whatever. I mean, as you can see, there's only 2 ranks of Temple Guard left and the front rank, where there was like 4 or 5 before. But with impact hits and all the other attacks, they were able to destroy my chariots. And then the SARS Cav just kind of turned to face the kitty, and so did the Temple Guard, because they know where he's going. So we go over here to top of 4 after movement, and no more subtlety, no more garbage. This what's it called? The skeletons charge into the SARS Cav with the sole hope of just combat resing them to death. I want the BSB to explode. I want his banner guy to explode. And even if they get away, they'll be below 25%, needing Snake Eyes to rally with no BSB. They're probably going to go off the table, and that would be ideal. The kitty slams into the Temple Guard, because that's where the kitties wanted to be this whole fight. The Titan moves up to start harassing the skinks. The skeleton archers move up to do the same thing. And the scouts move up because they don't know where else to go. I thought about charging into the skink, and then I realized that would be stupid, because now his Saurus warriors will have free reign. And, you know, now the Varguys just needs to bail himself out of this fight, because he's really, really disappointing me so far. But other than that, everything is pretty much how you see it. There's a better picture of my, what's it called? Skeleton Warriors slamming into his SARS Cav, and I feel pretty good about that. And I'm sorry, it wasn't the strength that she lowered by 3, it was the toughness. Those are remains and plays, Laura Shadow spells. So my Vargeist is still -3 strength, and these guys are -3 toughness. So I'm sorry, I have a lot of games in my head. I get my facts screwed up sometimes. And there's a better picture of the kitty slamming into the Temple Guard, and I feel really good about that, because like I said, the kitty is really good against infantry. During the magic phase, the casket speaks and does a little bit of damage to the skink warriors, or the skink skirmishers. It was just, I had the dice, and I was just trying to pull the spell dice, and she let it go, so I was okay with that. We go into combat, and she directs all of her attacks at my vampire and kills him. However, my vampire went at the same time as her great weapon wielding Scar veteran, so they killed each other, which was fitting, I guess. So charge and the wounds and the ranks and the flank and the banner to banner and whatever wounds, at least 2 wounds that she did to my vampire. I win by a decent amount, and she breaks, but she gets away. I literally pursue 2 inches. I roll Snake Eyes. They do get away. They bounce through a bunch of stuff. The BSB dies. The banner dies. So she's got like 1 Saurus Cav guy left, and he needs Snake Eyes to rally. So all in all, pretty good deal. And then over here, we go into combat, and the War Kitty is just the pwn. And I'm sorry, I forgot, during the magic phase, I was also able to get -1 strength, -1 toughness off on the desiccation spell off on the Temple Guard. So that's huge too. So the kitty just wades into these guys and kills all but 4 of the Temple Guard. They lose this combat by infinity, but they're stubborn, immune to psychology, whatever it is. They're defending the giant toad, and they don't break. But it doesn't matter. They're going to be dead in a minute, and it's just, I love the kitty so much. And then over here, finally, the friggin' Varguys kills the skink, and it's also because I dispelled the rip that was on him, so his strength was now 5 again. But yeah, finally the Varghese kills the damn skink and then turns to face the wave of Saurus warriors that are about to kick his butt next turn. But hey, at least he got a hold of the skink skirmishers and finally killed him after 4 rounds of combat, 5 rounds of combat, half the friggin' game worth of combat. Only me, right? Only me. So we go over here to bottom of 4 after movement, and the Saurus warriors slam into the Varghese, and that's not a surprise. The skink skirmishing cloud moves in front of my skeleton warriors to stop them from charging into the temple guard and helping the kitty out. The other wave moves up to try to deal with my archers and maybe my titan a little bit. And other than that, everything she has is dead or in combat. The one remaining Saurus Cav does fail to rally and continues to flee. There's a better picture of her Saurus warrior slamming into my Varghese to kill him, as well as her Saurus Cav still fleeing through the forest, made its dangerous terrain checks, no worries. Nothing happens in the magic phase, so we go into shooting, and her skirmishers take a heavy toll. They drop 3 of my archers, which is not terrible considering she had, what, 5 shots? So, yeah, good shooting, Tex. And then over here, the other skinks, they shoot at my skeleton warriors, and same thing, they kill 3 skeleton warriors, which isn't as big of a deal in a brick that size, but she still got 3 of them, and that offends me. So we go over here into combat, and yeah, the Saurus warriors. Actually, the Varghese did all right. He was able to kill 2 of the Saurus warriors before they put enough spears into him to make him a matchbox. But yeah, he dies the death he deserved, and I guess we're grateful. And then over here, the War Kitty literally just beats the tar out of the rest of the Temple Guard. Isn't able to do anything to the Slan because he makes his ward saves, and then he proceeds to make his break check with not irresistible force, but really low, like 2 2s and a 1 or something like that. Made the break check no problem, and we remain in combat, which is wow. So then we go over here to top of 5 after movement, and I take the offered charge. My skeleton warriors charge into the skirmishers, and they make it, obviously. The Titan tries to charge the other skirmishers, who fail their terror check and run boxcars away. They take a whole bunch of dangerous terrain checks, but make every single one no problem. My archers move up slightly because they're just trying to stay within range so they can buff the skeleton warriors and possibly the kitty. And the scouts on my right flank there, I know you can't see them, they charge the fleeing Saurus Cav and escort his ass off the table, which I thought was nice. There's a better picture of my scouts escorting the Saurus Cav off the table, and that was nice of them. And there's a better picture of my skeleton warriors slamming into the other skink skirmishers, as well as the other unit of skink skirmishers fleeing for their lives from the Titan, which is probably smart. During the magic phase, I get bubble ward off on everything, basically shields up. And I did this because I remembered what the skinks did to the Varghese. So I need every advantage I can get, apparently. Yeah, needless to say, we go into combat, and her skinks are flippin' amazing. They're able to do a wound to my Tomb King. They're able to withstand the mass of attacks that come in. They're not able to do anything to the unit, really. I think maybe... No, they don't kill any. But they did do 1 to the Tomb King, and they lose this combat, flee, and they get away. Or, I'm sorry, they don't get away. They get caught. We go into combat, and I have overrun into the... what's it called? Into the Slan. We go into that combat. The Slan is able to make a whole bunch of his ward saves and survives. He calls a challenge. My Tomb King accepts. I'm able to do a few wounds to the Slan, but I'm not able to kill it even with the other Trickster Shard. It breaks, it flees, and it gets away. Again, she rolls like on a 10 or an 11 to get away, and I don't roll anything like that. And she gets away, and we stop in front of the house. So the skeleton will stop behind the kitty. Kitty stops at the house, and it is what it is. But yeah, failed to get a hold of the Slan on that one. So we go over here to bottom of 5 after movement, and the Slan rallies, the SARS Warriors turn to face, the Skinks continue to flee just a little bit, not much, like 3 inches, and everything else she has is dead or in combat. There's a better picture of her Slan rallying, and there's a better picture of her Skink skirmishers failing to rally. During the magic phase, she's able to get Pit of Shades off, or whatever it is, on my skeleton warriors, which she's been trying to do all game, and I've been able to stop until now. And she obliterates 4, 8, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 of my skeleton warriors, which actually isn't a shock. It sucks, but it's not a shock. Nothing else happens, so we go to top of 6, and I am completely out of position to do anything thanks to me falling into my own trap. I have a traffic jam I can't get out of, so I don't bother moving. I just kind of leave everything the way it is. During the magic phase, I'm able to get Shem's Burning Gaze off on these guys, and -1 strength, -1 toughness, just trying to pull some dispel dice. It was just to try to get them below 25%, which I failed to do, but I had nothing else. And then we go to bottom of 6 after movement, and the Skinks continue to fail to rally, the SARS Warriors come closer, the Slan comes closer, and that's about it. There's a better picture of the Skinks failing to rally once again. And then during the magic phase, once again, irresistible this time, she gets Pit of Shades off on my skeleton warriors again. And kills a handful. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 this time. Which, you know, isn't nearly as bad as the last time. But there's a lot fewer than there were last time. So, you know. So, yeah, that unit's pretty well gutted. But it's the bottom of 6. Nothing else happens. So what can you do? And then over here, she rolls, you know, 0 to before, so she rolls in a miscast chart, and she actually rolls a 4. And this was something that happened at the Shiloh GT. Her Slan would roll miscast and then roll a 2 to a 4 and then suck herself into the warp. But she took that Soul of Stone, I believe, that lets you add 1 or subtract 1 from your miscast roll, and that saved her, because we actually did, hypothetical roll it, and she would have sucked her Slan into the warp right here. But instead, she was able to add +1, make it a 5. She took a wound, she took a wound, but she was able to ward save it. A couple of SARS warriors die, and that's it. So, could have been a lot better, but it was what it was. What can you do? And there you go, ladies and gentlemen. There it is. There's the end of the game. There's a tidal wave of SARS warriors, some fleeing skinks, a skink priest, and a Slan left on the table, and there's a whole bunch of dead guys. So it went pretty good for Lord Tremendous, and I'm happy about that. Still not sure how I feel about the BSB or anything, the vampire. I just, you know, playing around with stuff. I don't know if I like how small the actual army is and everything, but we'll see. You know what? I'll get to the recap in a minute, because right now this game is over.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
Hey guys, you know these tokens, you've seen them 100 times, and you know what? Every time you see them, if you haven't bought them yet, you're just wasting time. Get these tokens. All of the lords of whatever spell you're casting, all the wound counters. You see me use them in every single game, and you've never heard me since I've been using the counters going, I can't remember how many wounds I had, or what spell was on this guy, or whatever. And they're flawless. They're awesome. You're the envy of everyone you play against. Send Token Gal an email. Get these tokens. They're dirt cheap, but they're solid gold quality, guys. I'm telling you, you cannot go wrong. A lot of people have already ordered them, and nobody's returned any. Nobody's even asked to return any. All they do is they order more. Get yours. Get them soon. You're wasting time, and these are totally worth it. Tell her Tremendous sent you. Yeah, that's right. I don't know if you were paying attention or not, but we got a few new pictures. So not only does Unleashed Wargaming paint amazing models for commission and stuff like that, send him an email. He does excellent work, as you've seen from the pictures. Not only does he do all the different Magic lore cards for Warhammer Fantasy, I mean every lore. You want Storms of Magic? Send him an email. You want Lore of Fire? Send him an email. You want every lore that's ever been out in 8th edition? Send him an email. These things are solid. They're laminated. They're on cardstock. They're Photoshop made. They're amazing. And they're good. They're well priced, guys. I'm telling you. And now he's also doing 40K cards, the psychic stuff or whatever. I don't play 40K, but if you do, there's nothing wrong with that. But there is something wrong with it if you don't get these cards and if you don't have your models painted by them. Just throwing it out there. Just, you may, if you feel guilty, that's because you know you're wrong. But send this guy an email, get your models looking good, get the cards that you need, get your real game going, and tell him Tremendous sent you. You're not going to regret it. That's right, and Token Gal earned the first ever I got beat by Lord Tremendous red die. That's the only way you can get these dice, is to play me in a full game and lose. So yeah. And not forfeit. You don't get to play like one turn and go, okay, I forfeit, give me my die. Nope, we're playing a full game. We're going to see how it goes, and if you beat me, you don't get a red die. If you beat me and you don't have one already, you get a green die. But in this situation, she earned herself a red die, and it was kind of fun. She earned the first ever too, so I found that fitting. But yeah, in the end, it was a victory for Lord Tremendous. I ended up getting 1,613 out of her. She got 871 out of me for a difference of 742. In the end, I ended up losing my Vampire BSB, my Chariots, my Vargeists, to Skinks no less, and my Stalkers. The Lizardmen, Token Gal ended up losing both of her Scarvets. One was her BSB, one Skink Priest, her Cold Ones, her Temple Guard, her Pterodons, her Bastillodon, and 2 units of Skinks. Just for the record, her Skinks are the best Skinks on the planet. They took a charge from a duo of Vargeists, and not only did they survive for a long time. I mean, yeah, in the end I finally killed them, but it took way too long, making the Vargeists pretty much useless this game. And then they got murdered by the SARS Warriors, all because I couldn't get through Skinks. It was amazing. My Stalkers did great. They really did. They took down that SARS Cav unit, which really has given me a lot of trouble in the past. But they took them down pretty well, and even though they had to be sacrificed in order to do it, I think if I had rolled better for them, they would have vaporized that entire unit, and that would have been excellent. Unfortunately, dice are what they are, and it didn't work out exactly the way I had hoped, but it still worked out, so I guess I can't complain too much. The kitty did so well. The Chariots did well too, taking out the Bastillodon and then mowing down a bunch of the Temple Guard, making them basically bite-sized for the kitty. That was huge. But the kitty almost scored himself a slan. First the Chaos Lord and almost a slan. That would have been glorious. But it wasn't meant to be. That slan could really run. And I'm still happy with the way it worked out, so I can't complain. Vargeist had a really bad game, and I blame them for that. Yeah, if you can't chew yourself through a friggin' skink shield, then I don't know why you bother to call yourself a vampire. I mean, seriously, that was a very frustrating combat, but I can't fault Token Gal for rolling well. I can't fault her for, making her saves and everything like that, making her break checks. So, yeah, she did good, and the skinks should be painted gold because, wow! But, it's always fun to play against Lizardmen. It's rare that I run into them, and they always put up a great fight. It's always a fun game, not only to play, but to watch and do battle reports on. And Token Gal's a damn good opponent, so I like playing against her. But as always, great opponent, great game, and I'm looking forward to the rematch. Well, that's going to do it for this one, guys. Number 194. Still not sure how I feel about the Vampire lore, or the Vampire BSB in the unit. I kind of like the extra firepower in the unit of Skeleton Warriors. That is something that unit is kind of lacking in, but at the same time, I don't know. I mean, they're cool. It's nice, but it's so expensive, and I really don't know if I like the Forbidden Lore because it didn't even come into effect this game. I was so busy trying to summon units and cast buff spells that I never even bothered with the Lore medals. So I'm starting to think that maybe I don't need 3 casters for the way I play. I play one more game with this list this day, so you'll see that one in the next battle report. But I just don't know. I don't know if the vampire is the way I want to go with this. Plus, he's so expensive, and I don't like how small my army feels. It just feels like my opponent has too many easy ways to earn points off me. So, I don't know. I'm still thinking. I'm still learning. I've got, like I said, I got one more game to play with this list, so I need to figure out how that one is gonna go and stuff like that. But yeah, still got a lot of tremendous thinking to do. But as always, guys, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or complaints, feel free to put them in the comment section below, and I'll get back to you as quick as I can. But yeah, guys, thanks.